Okay, we are live. ¿Qué tal, amigos? Stuart here from Spain Speaks with this evening's live stream, 7:40 p.m. It is. It's also the 4th of September, into the new month already, the 4th day, and looking at some of the main stories that have caught my attention in the press today. One story dominating, and we'll get to that in just a moment. We'll also take a look at some comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers, and we'll go into the live chat and see what's bubbling away in the normally lively live chat section. So stay tuned for that. Now, straight into the news, and bad news for the Spanish government and the airline company Ryanair. They've had a falling out, and as a result, we can see here Ryanair has cut 2 million seats in Spain as routes shift abroad. Ryanair has announced a sharp reduction of its operations in Spain, cutting overall capacity by 16% this winter compared to last year. The move will see the loss of over 1 million seats during the season, adding to the 800,000 already removed in summer, bringing the total cut for 2025 to 2 million. The low-cost carrier said it will redirect capacity to markets including Italy, Morocco, Croatia, Albania, Hungary, and Sweden. The largest impact will be felt at Spanish mainland airports, where Ryanair is reducing capacity by 41%, 600,000 seats. The Canary Islands will see a 10% reduction, 400,000 seats. Vigo Airport will lose all flights from January 2026, while Tenerife Norte will see 17 direct connections scrapped from winter 2025. Bases in Jerez and Valladolid, already closed this summer, will remain inactive. The airline has also reduced traffic in Santiago de Compostela, Vigo, Zaragoza, Asturias, and Santander. So Ryanair cutting those 2 million seats. We'll have a look at a map to see exactly where where the airports affected are here in Spain. We see the Vigo airport. They're going to suspend all flights there during the winter. Tenerife Norte as well. Jerez not resuming flights in that city down there in the south. Valladolid as well, and the other percentages: Santiago, Asturias, Santander, Vitoria, Zaragoza being cut back 16%. Cut back in Spain from Ryanair. So bad news for travellers. What this means, I don't know yet, or how long it will last, this standoff between the Spanish government and Ryanair, which we'll have a look at here in just a moment. But lots of flights being cut there, 2 million in total from the operator Ryanair. And as we can see here, Ryanair, AENA, the Spanish airport operator, and the Spanish government clash in airport fee row. The long simmering conflict between Ryanair, Spain's airport operator, AENA, and the government erupted publicly this week at a press conference in Madrid. Ryanair CEO Eddie Wilson announced the airline will cut 1 million seats from its Spanish routes this winter in protest at AENA's planned 6.5% increase in airport fees from 2026. Wilson accused AENA and the government of showing no willingness to cooperate and labelled the rise unacceptable. AENA recently reported a 10.5% rise in half-year profits to €893.8 million and forecast 320 million passengers in 2025, defending the fee hike as a modest 68 cents per passenger. So that is what it's all about, the clash between the three players here in the argument, Ryanair, AENA, and the Spanish government, because, of course, the airport operator increasing fees, as we saw there, and Ryanair not happy. So if you were planning a trip to one of those places around Spain where those flights will be cancelled, you'll have to look for an alternative airline, and no doubt other airlines will take advantage of this with one low-cost player out of the market. That is Ryanair. So we'll see how this one ends up. Spain's transport minister, in the meantime, was on the front foot today, as we can see here, and he's hitting back at Ryanair, saying that and calling it blackmail over the seat cuts. Spain's transport minister, Oscar Puente, has accused Ryanair of blackmail after the airline announced a 1 million seat reduction for winter routes in regional airports. Speaking in Congress, Puente dismissed the carrier's claim that the cuts were due to Aena's planned 68 cents per passenger fee rise, calling it a gross falsehood, while Ryanair simultaneously raises ticket prices by 21%. He argued the low-cost airline is shifting capacity from smaller airports such as Santiago, Vigo, Valladolid, Jerez, Santander, Zaragoza, Asturias, Vitoria and parts of the Canaries to larger hubs where it earns more. Ryanair will keep growing in Spain because it suits them and they make money, but we won't accept their blackmail, Puente said. He also criticised the opposition, Partido Popular, for siding with Ryanair, noting that the 2026 tariff increase stems from regulatory frameworks established under a previous PP government. So as usual, a minister in the Spanish government blaming the opposition for the problems that it's currently facing. The minister, Oscar Puente, saying that it was a PP initiative to increase prices at airports. So again, we go nowhere, but in the meantime, those seats have been slashed from the Ryanair agenda, moving to other parts of Europe that obviously they consider more profitable. And Mr. Puente there saying that the Spanish government won't be blackmailed by the likes of Ryanair. Interesting times. Mr. Puente was also in the press today because of the rail network here in Spain, and he warned, of 2 critical years for high-speed rail in Spain. Spain's Transport Minister, Oscar Puente, has warned that the Renfe aging high-speed fleet faces 2 critical years of breakdowns and disruptions. Speaking in Congress, he admitted that much of Renfe's 125-strong AVE fleet, introduced between the 1990s and the early 2000s, is nearing the end of its service life, while the newest Talgo Avril Series 106 trains have already suffered repeated faults since their launch in 2024. Puente urged Renfe to adopt a rolling procurement strategy rather than waiting years to renew its trains en masse, stressing the need for investment to prevent widespread obsolescence. He revealed he travelled to Dusseldorf this week to explore acquiring Siemens trains to reinforce Renfe in the short term. He rejected claims that Spain's rail system is in chaos, but conceded it is increasingly vulnerable, citing higher passenger volumes, multiple operators on AVE lines, cable thefts, and the impact of wildfires. So there we go. Again, for travellers here in Spain, not only are flights being cut, but also problems with the high-speed network of rail, and 2 critical years according to the minister there, because the trains are getting old, and anybody who has been stuck on a Renfe train because of a breakdown, or whether somebody has stolen the cables, or whether there's congestion on the lines, or whether there's a national grid blackout, will know that it is very uncomfortable to be stuck on a train in the middle of nowhere in Spain. I'll tell you that because it's happened to me. And it also happened today because of an IT glitch, I think, in the system. Trains were again paralysed on their way back to Madrid, affecting thousands of passengers. So the Spanish government, not blaming any particular party here, because obviously the underinvestment goes back years, but it is not a good look for a country that wants to top the 100 million international visitors mark. And how many people will come back if they are having problems when they catch their high-speed trains? That's the question I'm asking myself. Comments that have been left on the channel in recent times by viewers. Let's see what has been bubbling away in the comment section. This one here from Recipe Review. Considering the majority of fires were set and the spread of many were due to poor forest management, that they say that they have to improve but do nothing. Every year the same. Climate change is a smokescreen. Thanks, Recipe Review. A smokescreen is climate change. Your words, not mine. Everybody's entitled to their opinion, but it is something that politicians are grabbing onto a lot in recent times because of the mismanagement of a lot of these disasters here in Spain. Climate change, I'm sure, is playing a part in the weather or the changing climate here in Spain. More intense are these disasters now, or at least that's what we are being told. And but there are other things at play here as well. For example, underinvestment, which is not uncommon, right? And also forest management, which has been put in the spotlight as well. And just basically politicians that are not prepared for the job, I do not think. And it's very easy to fall back on that climate change argument far too often, even though I'm not a denier of that, as you guys know. But a smokescreen, it could be for some politicians to cover their errors, but it is a fact that the intensity of the fires, which is the main issue, and a lot of people don't seem to get this, saying that how can it be climate change when people start the fires? Well, it's not the way the fires start that is related to climate change. It's the conditions in which the fires take place, the drier conditions, the more intense fires. That's what the experts, and I'll say this again, the experts are saying. Another one here from Wilma. I really like your channel. Thank you for all the time you put into it. I have lived in Spain since 2014. I speak and understand Spanish fairly well. I watch the news every morning and understand most of it. Your videos help me to understand the bits I have missed. I also like your restaurant reviews. Looking forward to the next one. Thanks, Wilma. I'm also looking forward to my next restaurant review. I haven't done one for a while. I haven't been out and about to any restaurants, waiting for the school season to start again, and I'll have some time on my hands, let's say, to do these restaurant reviews when my son goes back to school. At the moment he's at home, of course, and I have to take care of his needs, as they say. For example, his lunch I have to make on a daily basis, so it stops me from going out to restaurants. And also I'm a little bit fed up of restaurant food, or the food that I have been eating at restaurants, and trying to get a healthier diet by eating at home, let's say. Even though the food in restaurants here is not necessarily unhealthy, just not going through the stress of having to go to a restaurant, set up a camera, and film a restaurant review. But I'll be back, don't worry. So stay tuned for that. Stay tuned for that. Another one here from Debbie. A suggestion to help reduce heat deaths is air conditioning. Is there any reason for the limited air conditioning use besides its cost? Thanks, Debbie, for the comment there. Yeah, maybe air conditioning could be a way to reduce these heat-related deaths that were announced by the scientific community the other day. Over 2,200, I think, was the figure. Being associated to the heat waves that we've had in Spain this summer. And air conditioning, is it an option for many people? I don't know. Cost is probably the biggest issue, and a lot of the houses are not equipped with air conditioning, especially some of the older builds. And I think a lot of people just prefer to have the old fan set up rather than going to the hassle of installing air conditioning. But again, it depends where you are. It depends on the age of the building, and it all depends on the person, whether they want to go through that process or not, of forking out whatever it is for an air conditioning unit nowadays. But I'm sure if people could afford it, they would. When it comes to public organisations and businesses and the like, shops, the majority of places are air conditioned. Whether it be heating in the winter, cooling in the summer. So, but I think a lot of these heat-related deaths take place outside. People working in the extreme conditions, and they have a heat stroke attack or whatever, and they pass away. Heat-related deaths, 2,200, according to the article that we saw the other day. Thanks, Debbie, for that. One here from Patrick. Look forward to hearing your brother-in-law's comments, Stuart. I would love it if he has also the same great sarcasm. Thanks for the comment, Patrick. Yeah, I mentioned my brother-in-law the other day because somebody said that they have a sister-in-law living in Spain, and she told them that nothing to see here as far as changes in the climate concerned. Spain is hot, always hot. Always will be hot. Nothing to see here. Sister-in-law. And I mentioned that I probably wouldn't trust my brother-in-law, or at least I'd take his words with a pinch of salt if he was reporting on these type of things, if I asked him about these questions. So thanks for that. But is he as sarcastic? It depends which one. But in general, probably not as sarcastic as me. Probably not. Thanks, Patrick. One here from Rebecca. Very interesting video. Whenever my husband and I travel abroad in our mobile home, we take a few cans of fabada and lentils with us to enjoy on chilly nights in Central or Northern Europe. We enjoy trying all kinds of typical dishes, but these cans is a nice way to keep in touch with Spanish cuisine. Thanks, Rebecca, for the comment there. A video that I posted yesterday, I think it was. Some of these Spanish classic meals that come in cans here. I've generally been skeptical of the quality, but now that I have the food app Yuka, which tells me if products are good or whether they're a bit dodgy, these, what's the word, prepared food dishes or packet food, whatever you want, and all of the choices that I had yesterday or the day before, the fabada, the bean stew, the lentil stew, and also the chickpea stew, very high ratings on that app. So healthier options are available in cans than the food that I was used to eating out of cans back in the day. We were limited, I don't know in other countries, but in Australia, you never seem to get much more in a can than very soft spaghetti bolognese, or spaghetti with a red sauce. I don't even think it was a bolognese sauce. It was just like a tomato sauce, if you can call it that. Spaghetti in a can. Used to get your beans in a can as well, which, as we know, are what they are. And, not much more as far as canned food was concerned. There was another braised steak and onions, I think, was something else that used to pop up in a can every now and again. When you went on a camping trip, you would take that stuff with you. But we didn't have the luxury Spanish stews, the fabadas, the lentil stews, or the chickpea stews, as I mentioned, when I was growing up. So here, if you want to eat healthy food out of a can, you can with these dishes. And virtually all supermarkets stock them, except for maybe Mercadona, which has a limited range of brands other than their own brand, of course. So, go to a bigger supermarket, check out the brands, and there are some interesting offers. And again, the quality of that food yesterday surprised me, especially the first dish, that fabada dish. It wasn't cheap. It was €4.95 or something like that, but it was tasty. It was tasty, I will say. And final comment here from Dag. Nice one again. I first had Litoral Lentejas in 1976. Loved it. A little later, the Cocido. Loved it. Thanks, Dag. Yeah, that company's been around for a long time. I think it's under the Nestlé umbrella nowadays, or Nestles as we used to call them. Umbrella, the multinational food company, Nestles or Nestlé, however you pronounce it. And Litoral has been snapped up by that multinational. So no longer a Spanish company, I don't think, but the food, I imagine, is still made on Spanish soil. And, of course, the techniques used, I don't think, would have changed. So, Litoral. But there are other makers of canned products in the market. But Litoral, I think, would be the most famous, or at least it seems to dominate the supermarket shelves. Litoral. And, 1976. That was a while ago as well. I would have been, not even 10 years old back in 1976. So a long time ago when you had your first lentejas. I wonder if the recipe's changed over the years. We wonder. Now I'm going to change the backdrop picture, and go into the live chat in just a moment. Before I do, let me see if I can get this on the screen, the picture here. There we go. This one was sent in by Johnny, who's traveling around Spain and Portugal currently. While I'm on the topic of Portugal, I want to send my condolences to the people affected by the crash there in Lisbon yesterday afternoon, I think it was. I think the toll. The death toll now is up to 17. So my condolences to anybody affected by that, and also to the people of Lisbon, because nobody's expecting a tragedy like this in a city that's had that system in place for a long, long time. I think it's the funicular or something, is it? Or some type of tram system. Yeah, just on the subject there. But thanks, Johnny, for sending this picture through. It's not Portugal. It is Bilbao, one of the many bridges that cross the Ria or river up there in the north of the country. Bilbao is the city. One of my favourite cities, I will say, especially when the weather's good, like in the photo here that Johnny has taken. Thanks, Johnny, for sending that photo through. If you've got a similar picture you'd like to see on the backdrop, the email address is currently on the screen up there in the corner, spainspeaks@gmail.com, or any other inquiries or information that you would like to send my way. That is the email address. Send me articles if they catch your attention, like Erica has been doing in recent times. Thanks, Erica, for sending those ones through, and any other information that you want to send my way. The like icon is also on the screen. If you haven't hit the like icon yet, please do so. Just below the video, you will find it. Just let me de-blur the background there so we can get the image on the screen. There we go. And yeah, so if you haven't hit the like icon yet, please do so just below the video. Or if you're watching on a television, which 50% of people are nowadays doing, into the settings and you'll find the like icon, please. People that have supported the channel in recent times also, whether it's on the super thanks option here on YouTube or the super chat, whether it's buying me a coffee, whether it's the longer term supporters on Patreon, whether it's the channel members of this YouTube channel, thank you very much for that support, greatly appreciated. And also, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I know a lot of people watch these videos, aren't subscribers. Let me see, it's a very simple process. You just hit the subscribe button, turn on notifications, and bang, away you go. You'll become one of the close to 99,000 people who have subscribed to this channel over the journey, over the long journey that has been YouTube for me. Now, let's go into the comment section and check out what has been happening there while I've been rambling away. We've got a super chat from Marcus. Good to see you, Marcus. Haven't seen you for a while in the chat section, I don't think. 2 million fewer tourists flying in on Ryanair next year. Perhaps this is in line with Spain's aim to have fewer tourists, and those that do come spend more. Perhaps a better class of tourist flies British Airways. Good question, Marcus. Don't know if a better class of tourist flies British Airways or not. Ryanair, of course, the low-cost operator. Whenever Ryanair makes the news, it's normally because of something that's happened on one of their flights that heads to places like the Canary Islands. People have a few too many pints before they board their flight, starting their holidays early to places like the Canaries or the Balearic Islands or the Costa del Sol or wherever they're traveling to. And they maybe drink 1 pint too many before they board the flight, and we know what can happen. We know what can happen. Even though it's only a short flight, there have been issues over the years on Ryanair and other low cost. And maybe it is because of the class of the tourist. I don't know. But 2 million people, maybe it is in line with the Spanish government's plan to change the tourist model in this country, or the tourism operators' plan. I don't know whose plan it is exactly, but fewer tourists spending more moolah. That's what they want. Not the riffraff that have been coming to Spain for a long time and wreaking havoc in the resorts, falling out of windows and the like, just getting too drunk. Because Spain is a country where if you don't control your alcohol intake, you can be in trouble. Andrew, the first person apart from Marcus that I can see in the chat here. Good evening, Stuart and all. Hoping you're well. Sun and showers here in London, southeast, 19 degrees Celsius. Barbara is in the chat as well. Playa Flamenca, 32 degrees. Can't complain. I wouldn't be complaining, Barbara, with 32. Lovely. John is in the chat too. High Fly 1965. Hope the week is going well. Thanks, John, for that. Good to see you. Another valued member of the channel, Al, Tio Al, Uncle Al, coming in from a sunny Southern California, 26 degrees there. Hoping all is well. Thanks again, Stu, for Spain's best podcast. Thanks, Al, for that. There's other podcasters who say that their podcast is the best. Each to their own. James and Kathy in the chat here too, coming in from a stormy Worcester. Sunshine now. Local road flooded due to the storm, but got through safely. There we go. So the bad weather seems to be hitting the more parts of England. Worcester. Flooding. Raymond or Ramon coming in from Central Texas. Looking forward to their 3-week trip to Spain on October the 4th. We'll be walking the last 100 kilometers of the Camino Frances, starting at Sarria, then 2 weeks in a rental car. Hope all goes well with that, Ramon, that you enjoy your time there. Very popular place to start the Camino is Sarria, up there in, I think it's Lugo, the province of Lugo. But don't quote me on that. It's either Lugo or Ourense, one of the others. Amanda's in the chat saying hello to Andrew and everyone. Good to see you in the chat, Amanda, this evening. Kev is in the chat here too. Evening all. Lovely temperatures in Matheron. Beach is still quite full at 5:30 p.m. this evening as Kev drove by. There we go. Beach life down there in Murcia, Matheron, Murcia. Kev enjoying the weather, of course. No rain forecast yet, I don't think. Janet, valued member also, coming in from Oxford, where there's sunshine and showers, I imagine. Very English weather. There we go. Thanks for that, Janet. Another regular viewer, Renan, is coming in from LA, Los Angeles. What else we got going on here? Let's have a look. Former Madrid correspondent Dave is in the chat, coming in currently from St. Petersburg, I believe, Florida. What's going on in Bilbao with protesters blocking path of La Vuelta? Not sure, Dave, but I think it's got something to do with the Israeli-Palestine conflict, I think. I think that's what I read in the paper. I don't really watch the Vuelta de España if I can avoid it. But, yeah, I believe that is what's going on. They're protesting against the Israelis, of course, which a lot of people seem to be doing nowadays, pro-Palestinian protesters. But again, don't quote me on that because I'm not a full bottle when it comes to that information, Dave. Hope all is going well. What else we got going on here? Gigi is in the chat. Surprise, Arizona, where Gigi is located. Today, rain, thunder, and lightning, but 34 degrees Celsius. Thanks, Gigi. Good to see you in the chat. Andrew found that the Fabada Litoral on Amazon, he found it there for £9.89 for one can. That's a bit expensive, that one, Andrew. If it's not the premium variety, remember that in the video that I put out yesterday, I went for the premium. It was called the Select Recipe, and it was tasty. The normal one, I think you can pick up for around €3, probably a can. So what's the markup there? £10 is what? €11, €12 or something, is it? So fairly hefty markup, Andrew. Whoever the person on Amazon that's selling it is. Could be a business there selling that stuff for a cheaper price because it is good. Ramon also saying that in Texas, 33 degrees Celsius and sunny will be 36 later today. Thanks for that. Kev saying, can't disagree about the dry conditions, making forces difficult to contain. Best approach may be to make fire breaks before the fire season like they used to do. Could be, Kev, could be. But again, I'm not on the ground in those areas. I don't know the protocol before the fire season starts. But I have heard a lot of people this year in Spain say that the fire season starts in winter. I think that's the slogan that's being pushed around at the moment, meaning that you got to prepare in winter. And whether that hasn't happened or not, I can't say, but that's the political slinging match at the moment, right? James said, without the restaurant reviews, you'll start losing weight. Probably not, James. Very difficult to lose weight nowadays. The older you get, the more trouble I seem to have. But anyway. Hi, Stu. That Ryanair article is rubbish. The editor added 4 zeros just to mess with the Brits' heads. Not sure what that 4 zeros are referring to there. The article is rubbish, apparently, but I think it was in 2 separate articles. I'll just go back and check, but I think 2 different articles said exactly the same figures. So what have we got there? We've got 2 million. In the second article here, let me have a look. I'm not sure. 1 million seats this winter on top of the 800,000 plus already. So 2 million. So I think those are the figures, YouTubers. So if you can give us a clarification on what you exactly want to say there, that would be appreciated. YouTube is also saying here that in the 70s we warmed tin peas, spam and spuds in a pot of hot water, and we all thought spaghetti grew on a tree in Italy. There we go. Yep, spaghetti in a can. The old Heinz spaghetti in a can, I think it was. And, you know, if you were hungry, you'd get some toast, butter your toast, and then whack the spaghetti down on top. I don't know how many times I've done that, but plenty. What else we got going on here, Andres? Protests in Bilbao yesterday shut the Vuelta. Yeah, well, I think those are the protests, Andres, that we're talking about, or the ones that Dave mentioned. I think it's the pro-Palestinian, anti-Israel protest, I think. But again, don't quote me on that. Al saying, people don't realise that it's against government regulations to board or carry an intoxicated person. Obviously referring to Ryanair and some of the issues that they've had over the journey with intoxicated persons. Against the law, probably, but I've seen it on a few occasions in the press. Janet saying that she prefers BA, the luggage allowance is better. However, I don't like getting to Gatwick from Oxford. I go Ryanair, as they are more punctual and Stansted is accessible by more than one route from Oxford. There we go. So Janet, a Ryanair user. Larry saying that Ryanair is a crap airline. Who cares? Thanks, Larry, for your input there. Spanish and other airlines like Wizz Air, EasyJet, Ib Express can take up the routes, and Ryanair can pound sand, says Larry. So not a fan. It's because one of the teams is called Israel Premier Tech in the Vuelta de España, the Tour of Spain. There we go. Thanks for pointing that one out, Andres. The reasons for the protests there. Macaroni and cheese out of a tin, the best, says YouTubers. And tongue-in-cheek in the 60s about spaghetti growing on trees, an ad, apparently, according to Al. Thanks a lot for that, Al. On that note, I'm going to wrap this live stream up. It's been a pleasure. That's the last comment there. Thanks for watching today. Back again on Sunday with another one, hopefully. Until then, hasta luego, adios, bye-bye, ciao.